Hurry Up Tomorrow just came out on Friday, and it's the companion film to the new album, which is also created by The Weeknd. This movie is being called The Weeknd movie. It follows The Weeknd, who plays himself like he did in The Idol, kind of. Actually, no, he was a different character. But in this movie, it's The Weeknd playing The Weeknd. He's an insomniac version of himself who's on the verge of a breakdown when he meets Jenna Ortega's character, and she pulls him into a mysterious odyssey. A surreal odyssey. Now, honestly, I've been hearing lots of stuff about this movie. 4 months before it came out, I kind of got the vibe this movie would not be that good. I think once you saw the first trailer for this movie, it was a little obvious, because most trailers that label their film as a surreal odyssey, it does not make me think that the filmmakers or the producers know what the movie even is about. And if you watch this movie, I mean, I get it. It doesn't have a plot. Lionsgate released this movie. Lionsgate, who also released Megalopolis. It's like they've been picking up all the crazy fucking movies that are made by relatively talented filmmakers that, like, just are insanely make no sense. It's incoherent. This movie, to me, was honestly a lot of fun. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to be someone who just says, I hated it. I had fun with this movie. A big part of that, though, I think, is because I saw this on the fan event on Wednesday. So it was playing in Regal's RPX screens. That's one of their largest screens. So compared to, like, I checked the showtimes for this at Friday, it was in a smaller theater and there were less people. But I saw this on a Wednesday at 7, and there were so many people in attendance. It definitely made the movie more fun than it could have been. But all that to say, this movie reminds me of Euphoria. And Euphoria, of course, is, it's renowned. People love it. At least Euphoria has kind of a plot, kind of a very cheesy cookie cutter plot that's like, it's as intense as possible. Lots of drugs, sex, violence, all amped up to be artsy and, stylized with pretty good music. But I think the difference between this and Euphoria is clearly that there is no plot to Hurry Up Tomorrow. And if there is one, it's this weird meta, depiction of The Weeknd's life. But it's so hollow. This is such a flat, kiddie pool of a movie. And it's almost like it wants to pretend to be this deep movie. I don't even think it's pretending to be that deep, though. That's the odd thing here. This is directed by Trey Edward Schultz, guys. I absolutely love the work of Trey Edward Schultz. And his last 3 movies were all excellent and all really well paced. I wasn't a huge fan of It Comes at Night, but he has a really great visual style, especially with his movie Waves, which was the last movie he did back in 2019. And this movie, I think, finished filming around 2024, but it didn't have a distributor because no one probably wanted to, associate themselves with this movie. Like The Idol, this is 100% a vanity project, but it's very interesting to me how The Weeknd, it seems, has so much creative control over this movie, because I don't know really why Trey Edward Schultz would want to do this movie, except, I could kind of understand. He really seems to like the type of music that The Weeknd makes. The entire soundtrack of Waves seemed to be compiled of similar music. He really likes the visuals and the music, and that alone is enough to trick you into thinking this is good. I saw a lot of people who, their out of the theater reactions all seemed to be this movie was brilliant, it was stunning, it looked amazing. I agree with all of that. I was watching this movie thinking, I really love looking at this movie, listening to this movie. It really had a beautiful style. But underneath all of that, there is absolutely nothing new this movie has to say. And even if it was just a beautiful movie that sounded great, that, said nothing, what it actually has to say is so strange. And it's even more confusing in hindsight. I watched this movie. I'm just going to drop a spoiler, warning here, because I have to kind of spoil it to discuss it. This movie is basically just The Weeknd, having toxic problems with with women in his life. He's just a toxic guy, and that's what the movie's about. But there's, nothing it says that kind of makes it worth being about that. There's nothing the movie does that makes this feel like, it's really important. It's just, he's just a toxic person. And I don't know, I guess, Jenna Ortega plays this obsessed fan who, by the way, I didn't even know she was playing a stalker. It was very unclear because the whole first half of this movie, The Weeknd is on the phone and he's calling some girl who's supposed to be his ex, and he's like, you fucking bitch. And then the whole time we've been following that, we've also been following Jenna Ortega, and we don't even know her name. Like, someone might say it once, but I didn't even know what her name was. So we're just following this random girl who I assume is his ex. This girl shows up to his concert. She's, like, obviously obsessed with him, I guess, which actually isn't even clear, because before all this, we never, like, really see her, like, you know, thinking about the weekend anyway. It's just her lock screen. And then, basically, she shows up. He sees her as she's, like, trying to sneak past security. He's like, hold on. Like, don't stop her. And then he just talks to her. And then the next, like, whole half is them kind of, like, doing all these things, going on the Santa Monica Pier. It's like they're, like, in love with each other. And then, like, he's just supposed to be some toxic guy who just uses women, so he, like, abandons her. And then she ties him up, dances to his music. She, like, threatens to burn him. And then, like, she doesn't. And then after that, I honestly, like, forgot what happened. I gave the spoiler warning, but she, like, kills Barry Keoghan's character, who's in this as, like, one of 3 main characters. There's only, like, 3 characters with, like, you know, a good amount of spoken dialogue. There's basically only 3 characters in this movie. It's really insane. What's even more insane is The Weeknd is probably the only main character in this movie to not kiss Sabrina Carpenter in one of her music videos, which I bet he's jealous of after watching this movie. Basically, just to sum it up, I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was very fascinating to look at. Trey Edward Schultz, man, he can direct, he can edit. He's really talented, and I really love his movies, which are really just like extended music videos. To me, this just felt like a 100-minute music video, except there isn't even like a ton of music in it. It's just how there's so much ambient background music. And even when there's dialogue, it's not a very dialogue-driven film. It's a very indie, almost experimental movie where there isn't a traditional story. There's more just kind of like this thread, this theme that's kind of going on about, you know, a rich singer who's like depressed about a woman, and he's just continues to be shitty to another woman. I don't even know. It just was really interesting and fun to watch, but there's so many scenes like Jenna Ortega dancing to 2 of his songs and explaining them Patrick Bateman style. I don't know. I feel like watching this movie, I kind of synergized and like was on this level of just enjoying this campy bad movie. Also, when I saw it, there was like no Rotten Tomatoes rating. I left thinking, you know, I honestly kind of enjoyed that. But then as I was driving home, I was thinking like what happened? Especially the ending. It just kind of seals it for you, where Barry Keoghan and Jenna Ortega just like fight in this hotel room, whatever. And it's like, why? Why does anything in this movie happen? Like, what is the purpose? What is the reason? What is it leading to? Honestly, I don't think the filmmakers know. I think they just wanted to make a movie with this really, you know, The Weeknd has some pretty good songs in his new album. They had some cool visual ideas. I liked it. It worked seeing it in that fan event, but I don't think for a movie that's going to be discussed years to come, you know, unless it's a really misfired movie, I think this isn't this great art house movie. So let me know what you guys think of Hurry Up Tomorrow. If you guys liked it, if you didn't like it, or if you agreed it was kind of this vapid piece of trash. I don't know. I had fun with it. I liked it, but it's not a movie that I could say was amazing. I think you can make a movie that's beautiful, sounds great, but it could have a story that like means absolutely nothing, and it kind of feels stupid when you're talking about it. That's how this movie feels. It's like someone said this is like when you kiss yourself in the mirror. That's like the movie. And also someone on Letterboxd said it's what a 13-year-old version of themselves thought would happen at a One Direction concert. It sounds like a very accurate description. So thanks so much for watching, guys. See you in the next video.